Welcome back. I was honestly hoping this was going to be a tuning video of this, but we've had a couple of things not play ball. It's probably going to be a week or so, so we've got that all ready for vinyl. I'm going to throw the hood on tomorrow. And we're going to try to get back onto this car so I can go drifting, because I really want to go drifting. I obviously had a goal to make 20 events in the year. Probably not off to the best start, but we're going to give it a good push still. If I miss a few, I miss a few, whatever. So, next job I want to do. This thing's super ugly. This is not what I probably should be messing around with, but the ABS unit's got to go. I do want to put a handbrake in the car, so I kind of have to do something with that anyway. So I might as well just rip all that stuff out while I got the radiator out and get it out of here. So we're going to do some brake lines. Of course, I'm fussy and I want to do BMRS, so we're going to go through and rip all the brakes out of the car. I am just going to do an inline handbrake, so I'm going to order a inline from Rad Industries tonight, so we can just use the factory brakes. I think that's going to be perfect. I don't actually mind driving with an inline. Keeps the car light, not trying to re-engineer anything, not trying to spend any money really. So, the next thing on the not spending money idea, I have this old, yo Loki, what are you doing? This thing's going to be the next one in the next videos, guys. This needs some love. It's 2 years old now. This is also going to be another video. It needs a full deck out. But we got this old POS sitting out here. And I do have some nice brake lines on it. So I've just started now ripping that out, so we'll strip a few more things off it. So this car has full BMRS lines throughout the whole car, so I've started stripping all that off. You can see I pulled that one off. I'll pull all the fittings off, pull all the lines off, see what I can use. If I can use like 60% of it, it'd save me a few $100 at least, maybe probably $400. So I'm going to strip this thing down, and we're going to use as much off this as we can to get the other car done. Next project for the C6 is handbrake. I actually pulled all this out of an old Barra Ute I had laying around here that I'm never going to use again. Going to get rid of this thing down here. So, let's get after it. So we've been pillaging from the Barra Ute outside. This is all nice BMRS hoses and fittings. There is a bit of speed flow in there, but this was from a handbrake that we're not going to be using. But yeah, it's all nice BMRS. We've got a bunch of T's, some billet clamps. So that should be pretty good to get us pretty close. We found an ASD out there for now. We might be getting some upgrades or doing some upgrades, but for now, the bolting pattern's going to be the same no matter what I used. And I already own this. Also had a Sparco quick release out there, so we've ordered a hub to go on because I do like to have an aftermarket wheel on the car. So we've got all those lines. They may not be the perfect length, but one thing I do know is eventually we probably will end up with a better lock kit, and most of the time that will involve more angle and more steering and usually more track. So we know we probably want to have a little bit of extra length on this when we can. So if we have like a bit of a loop on those brake lines, that's going to be sweet. So just doing a bit of research on what's going on here. And from what I can see, these are actually labelled. I'll zoom in there. Left front, right front. So that's these two lines on the back side of this. That actually travels to the back side of this reservoir. So the back one is going to be the front lines. So just wanted to, if anyone's doing the install, that's pretty important to get that around the right way. So closest to the driver is the front, and then this one here is the rear. So our rear is going to come off. We're going to try get into the cab somehow, into the handbrake, and then we'll drill a hole through the floor and get out to the rear. That's kind of my plan for the moment. I've had a look around the car. The front, I'm not 100% sure what I want to do. in previous cars, you know, I haven't worked on a C6 before, but I'd come out of here and I'd sort of do my tee up in the firewall and come out. But the engine's a fair way back in this particular car, so I may kind of do what the factory does. Come off here, go down, put the T-piece down there, and then branch out to the brakes from there and do it underneath the car is what I'm thinking. So as we go along, I'll let you guys know. I'm trying to hold, there's so many things. I've had so many LSs over the years. There's so many things I just want to delete on this car. Like this thing and this whole trash setup and this rubbish. But it still works. I really shouldn't mess around too much. I want to get to the track. So we just have to concentrate and I'll get distracted. Get this handbrake done. So let's start ripping these lines out. We've got a whole bunch here. I do have more fittings if I need to shorten it, and I do actually have extra line if I need to make a line here or there, but we're probably going to honestly use as much of this as we can. I'm not going to do anything that's going to sacrifice the looks or how it works or anything. I'm going to do it properly, but if I can reuse some of this, it's going to be sweet. So let's get into stripping the vet. If there's anything I come across that I think's worth videoing, I'll let you know. But essentially, we're just going to pull all the wheels off and just start ripping all the lines out, rip that ABS module out. So let's get this thing stripped down. And then the other thing I'll probably do, I probably will do it off camera, but if there's something cool, I've just had a quick look. Mine's actually missing this, but looks like these two bolts here. Looks like there's a bolt here. There's one missing already, so it's probably already been stripped apart. And that looks like that's kind of it for that. So we're going to pull all those out, and then this should come apart. If there's anything there that I come across that's extra or kind of like hidden, I'll let you know. And then I just need to make a decision whether I want to put the handbrake in the cup holder or on the other side of the shifter. So I don't actually know. Well, I know what I would normally do, and I'd normally put it on the, like if we're sitting in the seat, I'd have it closer to me than the shifter is how I would normally do it. But we're trying to leave the interior in this car and not get too wild with it. So, I don't know. When I get this stripped off, I'll probably sit in the seat, sit the handbrake in there, kind of see how it feels. If I got to cut up some trim to make it, work for me, I'm good with cutting up a trim. So, we'll see how we go. I'll let you know what we come up with, and let's get into it. Alright, so this is something I thought would be handy to know. I'm lucky enough, I got a bunch of different fittings around. This is one I pulled out of the ute out the back, and then this is a spare one I had, but they're both M12 by 1, which is what the thread pitch is down in this master cylinder. So we're just going to give this a bit of a clean with some brake clean down here now, and going to install these two. Then this will convert it to a -3. And then from there, I can use my BMRS hoses. This is all the trash we pulled out of the car. So we're pulling some weight out, which is nice. Yeah, so that will screw in straight into our -3 we have here. So M12 by 1 if you're thinking, or you want to buy your own fittings, that's what it is, M12 by 1. So let's get started on the front end here. So we got the front end, the front brakes, not the front end, the front brakes all buttoned up. They're in. We had a bit of extra length on them, so we sort of come up and done a loop on there. I didn't want to cut them down, to be honest. I think eventually I'll change the lock kit in this car to something else. For now, this adapter knuckle thing kind of works, but you don't get much angle. The wheels rub pretty hardcore on these lower control arms. So we do need to fix it at some stage, but that's not the problem for now. So the brakes are in, front brake lines are all done. Don't think you can see out there, but we'll have a look once the car comes down. I've got those two fittings in that you see me put in there, M12 by 1 to -3. So the front brakes are all hooked up. Then what we've come up with for the rear is we've used our T-piece here, which is obviously all going to get mounted. I'll show you once it's done. It's going to go kind of where the factory line goes. And then I'm going to use a banjo, which I'm not the biggest fan of a banjo, but it's going to get that into the correct position for us, so we're going to run it. But the reason why I got the camera out is because one thing that I'm not sure, people probably do know if you have a C6, but if you don't and you're going to do one, the factory brake line actually runs through the subframe. So if you had to drop this subframe, you'd have to actually disattach the brakes, which is kind of a pain. So I'm going to set up this new system where the brake line actually runs over the top. So you can kind of see it here. That's the brake line. It runs over the top of the transmission. I'm going to P-clamp it up there. You can see it's coming down here through the hole, and then it's going to go here, and it's going to attach to the brakes. So it's actually going to be above the subframe there. So if we ever have to drop the trans and diff out, literally we could just pull the caliper off and the brake lines are all above everything, and that could literally just drop down. So a little bit extra work, but it's definitely some good upgrades because, I mean, this is an 05 Corvette, so at some stages different trans is definitely going to be coming out. And we also found a factory hole in the body. I'll put some light up here. I have no idea what it's from, but there was a factory hole already there, or maybe not a factory hole, someone drilled one, but it's already a hole that was there. So we use that bad boy, and that'll get us up into the cab. We already still have the carpet out from doing the coilovers, so we can run that straight to our handbrake, and we are going to put the handbrake on the right-hand side of the shifter. I usually like it between the steering wheel and the shifter, but there ain't no room in this thing. So it's going on the other side, kind of in the ashtray where a lot of other people put it. I've ordered a 3/4 master cylinder from Rad Industries. It'll hook up to the existing handbrake I have, so that'll work. So onto the, I'll keep ripping these rear lines out. Hopefully get that all hooked up tonight. It's pretty late, to be honest, so I'll probably call it a night, but hopefully get that rear end buttoned up. Then that's in the cab, then it's on to mounting this handbrake. So we got all the brake lines done there. The next step was working on the handbrake. We got everything pulled apart. So this is what we've ended up with. I'll actually show you this that we made. So we just kind of cut out a pretty rough cardboard template. So we cut out this bad boy. This sat on top of where we want to mount it. Like so. So we made that all fit like so. It has to fit over this ring, this lip here, because we want it to sit flat down on the bottom. Then I got in here. I didn't do like the nicest, wildest job, but we've trimmed took the cup holder out, and then we trimmed that slot because that's where the master cylinder is going to fit. I have actually ordered the master cylinder. Should be here tomorrow, hopefully. But for the moment, we've just been doing the mock-up with this bad boy. So the other one should be exactly the same, just with a fitting back here, so we can do in line. So that's what we've done. We then turned our template into real life. So we got this bad boy done. And then what I'm doing here is I'm going to drill and tap this and this. So we're going to drill and tap the thread into this and into here. So then we can put that on there like so. And then bolt that in. This extra height will be nice for us for the fitment. And this will give us, like, this is a 1/4 inch thick. So this will give us plenty of threads for engagement. So yeah, I'm going to put some shape into this bad boy. This is the front one. Put some shape into this one. This is the rear. Then I'm going to drill it. Then I'm probably going to bolt those pieces to the handbrake. Sit it in, put a couple of tacks on it, and sit it all in there. Sit that on. I'll probably show you once it's kind of the dry mock-up. So we get all that sitting in there. And once all that's sitting in there, I'll pull it out and I'll weld everything properly. Then we'll go to the powder coating room. Give us some powder. Then we can start bolting that all in and start getting the lines to it. So hopefully tonight we can get the lines. I do have the line. I'm not sure if I did show you, but the line is back here. So that's the line, comes out of this hole here. So this line here, I've got to run to the handbrake. So I'll run that down to the handbrake, and then from the handbrake to the master cylinder. So we're going pretty good. We'll get these cleaned up, drilling them, tap them, get it all sitting on there, put a couple of tacks. I do have the marks on that I do have the marks on here, just here, of where we want it to sit. So we've got a pretty good idea what's going on. So we'll tack that in, and then I'll bring you guys back once we're doing the dry test fit. So we got it in there, about 360 for 10 minutes. It's a pretty thin piece of material. I preheated it. That should be good. So I'll probably leave it for 5 minutes, have a quick look at it. And if it's all going off, we'll probably just shut the oven off and leave it for tonight. But yeah, be able to install that baby in the morning. Continue on with it. Right. Well, it's going to bring us to the end of the handbrake installation and ABS delete. Don't actually know if the car starts yet. Kind of hope it does, but got my crimp fittings on here. That all worked out sweet. Got some room in front of this power steering pump if we ever need to work on it. Got the lines, actually, I can show you them. They're all got a T-piece here with the lines all clamped up nice and neatly. So front brakes sorted. Had my friend Jelani come over. He gave me a hand to bleed them up. Bled the front, bled the rear. This is what the handbrake ended up looking like. Actually pretty sweet. Bracket that we powder coated is all down there, looking good. This bled up like really good. That's actually not a lot of movement to have that lock up, so that's kind of sweet. We may end up going for a 5/8. We have a 3/4 in the moment. In line, that all works. So we'll call that a success. I just gonna put the carpet back in. I got the line. This is the line going in from the back of the car to the handbrake. That's it. It's the whole video, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. It's been pretty successful. Built everything in shop here. So yeah, it's a good one. So hopefully get this radiator back in, and hopefully the next video could be us driving it. There's still plenty of things I want to clean up and do on this car, but when we get there, we get there. So for now, I want to get the wheels on, go driving. So thanks for watching. See you on the next one.